Testing, testing. What the hell? How are you guys doing today? Let's go. That shit's funny, dude. It showed it was talking on my end. How's everybody doing today? That's hilarious. Everybody's probably like, what the fuck? I'm just switching tabs. Let's go. Can you guys hear me now? It's still showing you guys can hear me. You guys can hear me now? There we go. I mean, the whole time on my OBV, it showed that you guys, or OBS, it showed you guys could hear me. So what the hell was that? All right. Well, let's start over. How's everybody doing today? That's hilarious. Turn my shit down. It says I'm like loud as fuck too. All right, there we go. So let's get into this video. Thank y'all for being patient. That was hilarious. So let's get into this right away. So Ken is all over the media. He's crying about all these things. He's crying about, you know, less companies are going public. We'll get into that in a second here. But Ken's crying all over. He's blaming the SEC. He goes, the downfall of the public market, it's the SEC's fault and these rules and all this shit. They're trying to pass the blame because, like I said, all this shit's coming to an end here, guys. Eventually, people are getting too loud, and that's what's going on. And we need to keep educating people, showing everybody what's going on. The louder we get, the more noise we make, the harder it is to suppress. Everything will keep coming to light. But Dougie Fresh, over on the other hand, he doesn't talk to me anymore. Dougie Fresh, he likes to... His lawyers pretty much told him not to talk to me. We'll get into Dougie Fresh here in a second, but he's doing space calls after space calls. You got Doug and Ken doing PR at the same exact time. That doesn't tell you stuff's going on. I don't know it will. But let's go ahead and let's listen to Kenny Boy here. So he starts coming on and he's crying, you know, oh my God, the SEC's fault. So he goes, there's way less publicly traded companies now than there was even 20 years ago. And it's like, yeah, because everybody's figuring out your bullshit, short and distort, and all this crap that you guys are doing in the market. Why the hell would anybody want to go public? There's no reason to go public anymore. Everybody knows eventually what's going to happen is I'm going to come to you guys. You're going to find out somebody who has a really good idea. You're going to come in as an investor to be like, oh yeah, we're really interested, blah, blah, blah. And then if they have a great idea, what you're going to do is say, all right, I'm going to wait until you do 80 or 90% of the work. Oh, you're almost there. Let us get you the funding. Let us wait a month or two. And then right when you're just about to get on that edge, that's when we're going to go ahead and short and distort your shit, take over your board, take over your company, CEO, you're out the door. And we all know that that's exactly what they've been doing. And what is the number one company that these guys do it to? Pharmaceutical companies. And this is why would they do that? Because think of how much money is made every year in the health industry. They get money if you're sick. They don't get money if you sit at home and you're just fine. And that's how fucked up this world's becoming. Anytime that they say, hey, there's a cure, there's almost a cure, because each patent has to be different. So what these giant guys do is they wait and say, hey, who's going to get a patent around all the patents we own? Who's going to come up with another way to get around it for a new cure? Well, if they do, what we're going to do is fucking short and distort it, take it, put their patent away in our vault, because we don't get rich off people doing sick. But what we'll do is we'll now issue, hey, these are new, you know, for richer people, great insurance, all that stuff. I mean, if you don't believe me, ask Magic Johnson. I mean, go back in history at that time and ask Magic Johnson. I mean, the second money comes around and you guys suddenly you get these things, you have access to stuff nobody suddenly has. But that's my point. These guys, everybody sits there and goes, oh man, you know, we sit there and we give to all these research and all these research things, and they never seem to come up with a cure. That's because the ones that finally do come up with a cure on their patent get fucking taken over. But back to Kenny Boy here. So Kenny's over here and he's bitching and he goes, because everybody's figuring out the Ponzi scheme. And once people figure out the Ponzi scheme, it all comes fucking crashing down. You can't, so now it's blame time. It's point fingers. Everyone's pointing fingers now. So let's listen to big old Kenny here.
Some of this is the backdrop that we've made it less attractive to be public.
What do you mean?
Well, the SEC has, over the last 20-some years, put in place an ever-increasing number of burdens and costs on public companies. It's making our public markets less attractive as a home in which companies live and where their shares are owned.
So he's blaming the SEC. It's the rules they're trying to put in place. It's these rules they're putting in place. Why would anyone want to do it in this type of a market? No, it has nothing to do with this shit. It has nothing to do with fees. It has everything to do with you, Kenny boy. We all, like I said, everybody's figuring it out. Everybody's talking to these CEOs. You have how many CEOs? Patrick Burns going on for how long? Dave Lauer. All this stuff is being exposed more and more and more. It's getting louder and louder and louder. And if I'm a CEO, why am I trying to give you a piece of my pie when I know eventually you're just going to take the whole thing right when I want it to be where it needs to be or where I envisioned it to be? Fucking trash. These guys are just complete garbage. Let's listen to Kenny one more time.
So we provide liquidity to retail and institutional investors across a broad array of products. And that team working together is a big part of our success story.
Yeah, it's that team working together. It's all the illegal stuff we do in the back end. It's all the guys we pay off. We're just better at it than FTX. Oh, by the way, we're part of the regulators. That's where FTX went wrong. They didn't become their own regulators like Kenny Boy. He's literally on the DTCC. Citadel's on the DTCC. That's where he fucked up. If Sammy would have been able to come up to somehow be a regulator of crypto, he would have been just fine. But Kenny's got all the bells and whistles, all the guys in his pockets. He knows what he's doing. But it's part of the team of the regulators, the politicians, the market makers, FINRA, the SEC, all of them. But here's the thing. They're all blaming Gary. They all fucking hate Gary. They all want Gary out. They all want Hester Pearson. So, if you guys didn't know about Dougie Sifu, so Dougie Sifu is holding all these fucking space calls. He's trying to do PR. It wasn't me. It's the SEC's targeting me. They're targeting us. They don't like us. Yep, they don't like you, Dougie Fresh. If you guys look into... I kept asking this guy who was hosting the space call, we'll take questions, and I go ahead and ask these questions. Of course, he wouldn't ask them, and he just kept deleting my comments, and then eventually he fucking just... I wasn't allowed in the space. I just kept getting kicked out of space. So, he's in there blaming fucking... he's in there blaming the SEC and Dougie Fresh. But I'm sitting here like, okay, if it's the SEC's fault, why, like I said, in programming, if you log into a backup server, you're in there for a minute or two. You're in there to grab... You screwed up a procedure. You screwed up a database, a table, something like that. You need to go into the backup, grab that same table you deleted, pull it out, put it back in, and just reset it, and then get out of the fucking backup. There you go. You're good to go. You don't sit in the backup server. So for them to have 75 people constantly fucking into the backup server, monitoring live trades, and then you go, we don't need to limit that. We have more problems. We need more people in the backup server. Why the fuck would you raise it to 125? How is that the SEC's fault? You constantly have fucking 75 people in this backup server. Why did you raise it to 125? Why did you erase user IDs? There was no login IDs and no timestamps in the system. So they don't even know what 125 users were logged into this backup server that literally had live data feeds. And then I said, okay, how many of your employees use ChatGPT and all that crap, or all these other apps that we don't know about, and we're out there giving out live insider and fucking trading information. It was right at their fingertips. Nope. Fuck no. He needed Dougie to be like, oh my god, none of this is... Doug's like, they couldn't even prove we were using the data. There's no user IDs and timestamps. Duh. That's the way you made it, so if you did get caught, you would be like, I don't know who was using it. We don't know who to punish. We know. Because you're all fucking criminals. And in the meantime, he goes, Hester Pierce. We love fucking Hester fucking Pierce. She's where we should go. Okay. Hester Pierce, there was a fucking company that did an IPO, and one of their board members sold his shares through the IPO so he wouldn't get caught and have to do the reporting and all that stuff. And she goes, why would we find the company? Because the director who they fucking hired did an illegal act. What do you mean? See, she's just a fucking goddamn clown. This chick is an idiot. And Doug, we gotta get her in here. So I'm sitting here like, They want Gary out real fucking bad. And they want Hester in real bad. And it's like, I'm sitting here like, I don't know. Makes you wonder. And then we're going to get into this here in a second. And then it makes you wonder, you know, is Gary trying but just is fucked at every corner? I don't even know. I know he's not trying as hard as he could because it's like, here's the thing. This is the thing about the SEC that fucking pisses me off. Okay. We're underfunded. We can't do anything. We can't go after these guys. We want to prosecute them even if we can't get to... Okay, here's what you do. It's not that fucking hard. You go in there and you hire some people that can fucking, investigate. You're talking top programmers. Really fucking smart people. You have them go into their sites. Don't fucking let them know, because we know you guys like to give guys phone calls in advance. Don't give them a phone call in advance. Let them go in there, get into all their servers, backup servers, let them find everything. And then when they find it all, punish these fuckers at every single corner, fine them billions of dollars, and guess what? You can go ahead and pay all the people that were hurt, keep some yourself, and you can start funding the SEC off the criminality. Crazy. That was a crazy, crazy thought. So they made $7 billion, but you find them fucking $100 million. No, find them $14 million. $14 billion, sorry. If they stole $7 billion, find them $14 billion and give them strike one. And if they do it again, they're banned from trading and they're in jail for life. They shouldn't even get a strike one. They should just be in fucking jail. If you did an act that did $7 billion, you should be in prison for fucking ever. No bank has even, what do these guys have on hand? Maybe a couple $100 million at most if you're talking the top banks ever. No bank robbery is going to get anywhere near the money these guys get at the push of a button. But these guys are getting 30 fucking years, 10, 15 years, and these guys get a $10 fine. Like I said, Hester Pierce is fucking trash. She works for a company that literally her number one revenue stream is an anti-regulation firm. Okay? But to this. Citadel's now got scams, and the reason I'm bringing this one up specifically is because it's once again, it's the same thing you got going on over at Dougie Fresh's house. So Dougie's getting sued by the SEC because they had access to this database. These guys fucking... I should have done it. This one's got a paywall, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can't go down all the way. Whatever. Basically what these guys is, they started a new company, right? They're starting a new firm. They still had access to Citadel's fucking information. You can just Google. Just Google. If you really want to read more into it, just Google this. I'll put it in the chat. Just Google that. You'll get 20,000 other... I don't have Bloomberg. I'm not paying for any of that crap. But what ended up happening is these guys started a new firm, still had access to all of Citadel's trading information. What the fuck? Guys, can you clean up your house? Like, what is going on here? Talking about fucking harassment, all sorts of stuff, dude. Like, where's Charles Gasparino? Where are any of the people on these type of crimes by the big guys? So you notice how they're always fucking dead quiet? Now, let's get into we'll get names in a second here. But I found this pretty interesting. I'm kind of curious. I'm going to look at the chat's thoughts here on this. Investor Ken Griffin and Bill Ackman are meeting with Ukrainian president in New York. What the fuck? What do you think that's about? It's about laundering or some kind of criminal act. What the fuck kind of criminal shit's going on? They're like, hey, we're going to get involved in your banking system. Let's get a stock market set up and let's get us going. Like, what is going on over here? Very interesting. I'm going to keep my eyes on that shit. But here's something that I found interesting, and I want everybody to look at this. So, if you're an AMC here. So, the writers, producers, it sounds like they're coming close to an agreement on the strike. Perfect. Let's get this shit over with. There's way too much money. These guys are being so fucking petty. There was a thing. Here, let me show you on Twitter quick. I posted it. Instead of giving them, it was like, God damn it. I can't remember. Let me look for a second. Post some shit. So instead of giving the writers like a 0.02% fucking raise, they were like losing out. Here you go. Disney has announced they'll spend $60 billion over the next 10 years to increase growth in theme park businesses. but yet they refuse to give the writers 80.88% of their annual revenue increase. Like I said, this shit doesn't make any fucking sense. How can you justify any of this stuff that they're doing to shareholders? And that's why the price is plummeting. They have no choice. They're going to have to come to an agreement here. But here's what's funny. On great news like that, what would you think would happen? Theater stocks would jump up. Of course, that's exactly what you think. Cinema stocks should go up. Good news. Cinemark, up 4.7%. Cineplex, up 5%. Perfect percentage. Crazy. IMAX, up 5.3%. So basically, all other theater companies are up 5% on good news. Then you look at AMC. On the same news, we're down almost 5%. While the other companies that all the institutions own, well, they went up on that news. Okay. Now, one of the things I want you guys to look at here as well. Order imbalances. Everybody keeps posting. Why is our buy side so high? Look at our buy sides. They're fucking huge, huge. Buy sides, huge, huge. Well, yeah. Look at the order imbalances. Order imbalance on the buy side for AMC on the 19th. Order imbalance AMC on the buy side on September 18th. AMC order imbalance on the buy side September 15th. AMC order imbalance on the buy side on the 14th. Order imbalance on the buy side for AMC on September 13th. Are you seeing a fucking pattern here? AMC order imbalance on the buy side on the 8th. This one was on the 7th. Do you see a pattern? There's constantly an order imbalance, always on the buy side, which means that there's more buyers than there are sellers. You have to, for every buy, you gotta have a seller. You're having more orders every fucking day come in on the buy side. Now, if you read about these are supposed to make stock prices move up. But they're not reflecting the price somehow. If you're having more buys, that means, think about what they say. Stock runs on supply and demand. That means you have more demand than you have supply every other fucking day. Every day on some cases. So why doesn't the price reflect that? Why isn't the MBBO going up? You're telling me nobody, if there's all these people buying, you're telling me they're only buying at these small levels? Okay, whatever. Like I said, look, show me another stock that has as many fucking order imbalances every day. Now, what is this also going to mean? You're having fucking FTDs probably filled up the ass. So AMC's FTDs are going to go flying up. But one of the things I want to point out here is there's a lot of, I don't know why everybody's posting these articles and stuff. It's crazy. There's articles being posted right now that there was 270 million FTDs in AMC, and it was like 70% of the float, and holy fuck, and everyone's going crazy. You don't add these totals together. Basically, you can see on the side, you have to watch the FTD change. You add them, so like on this, there was a 14 million FTD difference. But the story still is here, and it's still insanity. You had 50 million FTDs. You had 10% of a float FTD'd. Dude, what the fuck? 10% is in fucking insanity. And then the next day, it all went away, and there was zero price movement. So that means those FTDs got filled. Not according to anything we've seen. So they're smashing FTDs up the ass, then they're fucking resetting them. Like I said, tell me why every other stock goes up 5% exactly. pretty much. Because if you go ahead and say, all right, it equals up 5% with the 3. Like I said, and we go down that the same exact amount. It's a fucking joke. Same shit, new fucking day. But before I go on, Q3 domestic, let's check those out quick. All right. What the hell? Why does it show 2.53? Well, this must be for... Oh, wait, no, that's dumb. Fucking return. All right, so we're at 2.5 billion. We know that we get profitable about 2.6. We need to... 2.7 would be great. 2.7.5 would be awesome. We need to smash the box office. Like I said, guys, make Dumb Money a $100 million opening, dude. That's exactly what we need to do. And everybody, if you haven't seen a movie, make sure you go see a movie. 2.75 is a key number that we need to shoot for. If you haven't seen a movie, if you haven't, keep talking up movies to your friends. Make them want to see them even more. Maybe they'll change their plans. Make sure we hit 2.75. That is a key number for AMC to be, I'd say, if our percentage even goes up, profitable about 30, 40, 50 million if we get back to about 30%. So back to treasury bonds, the spiral and everything else. And then we're going to get into corruption and some instruments that they created. And I want to teach people some things that these banks are doing with student loans. And a lot of people, they're slabs. So I just want to educate people a lot of things on everything that these fucking criminals are doing. Pretty much, dude. It's just a joke. So if you guys look at the treasury rates, this is exactly what I was telling you guys. You're seeing all these countries sell off hundreds of billions of their bonds, hundreds of billions. And at this point, you have 7.6 trillion maturing as well. It's going to get really, really, really interesting here. These rates are going to all be at all-time highs. They're going to keep flying up and flying up and flying up. And this is going to be the death spiral on all of these banks. If you guys look over here at the numbers, everybody's starting to talk about the things I've been showing you guys for the last 6-7 months at the rate they were doing. Because if they were going to death spiral it, this is the only way it could go down. So at this point, you guys are looking at bank accounts. This is what they're giving you on interest rates. 0.15, 0.005, 0.001. Really good stuff here. You obviously are going to be able to grow your wealth in retirement in a bank, correct? Well, everybody else is starting to wake up and look at everything else. You got CDs, money markets, you got treasury bonds, you got all sorts of things that you can do to get the fuck out of these things. There's no reason to be in a fucking bank anymore at this point. Just enough to pay bills. That's really all you need to be in there for. Fuck them. You're literally losing money sitting in a bank. This is spiraling on all of these banks because eventually they're going to have no deposits. This is going to start to smash down a lot of these middle banks. You're going to have runs, and this is why you're seeing they were issuing all of those warnings on all of these. Hey, you're getting all of these hedge funds now. They're shorting treasury bonds and the treasury market and all this at historic levels, and it's all one way. They're all betting against the banks. They're betting on tons of these small banks collapsing and going under, and the Fed's not being able to control it. And tons of these hedge funds are now doing. There was just another issue, warning by the IWM. So everybody's looking at it going, hey, you have too many hedge funds, and everybody's betting against this. And if it doesn't go that way, you're going to have another bubble. And this is the problem. There's bubbles that are insane at every single level. But why am I bringing this up? You had 1 trillion over the last year leave the bank deposits. 1 trillion. Well, at that same exact time, what did I tell you guys was happening? They're all going to move into money markets. 900 billion went into money markets. Exactly like I was telling you. Now you're going to see the repos. They're up at 2 trillion. They're down to like 1.4. They're going to start going lower and lower because they're all looking over here and they're all going to start moving into these. And this is the thing. They need to make these so attractive that people like us are going to start buying the debts. Institutions are going to start buying the bonds. Because they have to have somebody buy it if the rest of the world's not going to buy it. Well, guess what? That's going to keep punishing these fucking banks. And that's why all the hedge funds, they see the writing on the wall. It's right on the wall. 33 trillion in debt. So on top of that, the debt's getting riskier and riskier because guess what? By the time next year rolls around, we'll be at 35 trillion in debt. You have 7.6 trillion maturing next year. Good luck. Reverse repos. 1 trillion left. Like I said, exactly what you're seeing. Everything is going to keep going. More will leave the banks. Hedge funds are going to lose their lifelines because it's exactly like what I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. Stocks are going to fall because all these people are going to lose their lifelines. And the apes will fucking rise. There is a bubble bursting. We need it to burst. It's going to burst in a ton of sectors, but when it bursts in one, it's going to go in a ton of them. And that's exactly what we need. All these guys to lose all their credit. Fuck them. We already know none of them have the assets. They're all living off credit. Take their fucking credit away. Now, we're going to get into just corruption here for a little bit. Because the shit's just fucking ridiculous, dude. So, 2/3 of Congress in 2020 got cash out campaign checks by all these pharmaceutical companies, and the number one was Pfizer by all of these politicians. 228 lawmakers, like I said, this is the problem going on in our country. You have senators, you have politicians that are able to do whatever they want to do. They can take bribes. They can take speaking fees. You know, even like Obama now, any of those guys, you know, when they retire, they're done. They can still go do speaking fees and make $500,000. He still gets paid almost $450,000 a speaking fee. I mean, the system above us it's always here. Just keep taking this money. Keep taking this money. We're going to get into some fucking disgusting shit here in a second. But none of these guys seem to have, you know, any repercussions. None of these guys, like I said, pharmaceutical companies keep passing laws to make it harder for all these other guys and all this stuff. And we can do this. We'll keep paying you guys. If anybody's going to come up with a cure, we're going to short and distort their company. We're going to take their fucking company away. We're going to take their stuff, put it in a vault. And then we're going to later on down the line say, hey, we got a breaking new discovery. Yeah, we know. Notice how it's always only the big companies that have breaking discoveries. It's always just the same fucking 5 big companies. Why do they have it? Because they're the only ones that are allowed to. They destroy everyone else that's getting close. People like this fucking loser. Oh, get Gensler out of there. Blah, blah, blah. This dude does 225K of new commodity future trades. Guess what? He sits on the subcommittee. So these guys are sitting there, and then he goes, I don't even manage my stock portfolio. Someone else does it for me. Yeah, and did you tell him the day before how you were going to fucking vote? See, this is my point. These guys sit there and they can do insider information, trading, do whatever they want. They don't vote on what's good for us. They vote what's good for their portfolios, their buddies on the side. I guarantee you he's got some new speaking fees coming up, some new this and that. And it's every other day you're seeing a goddamn new politician getting this, getting that. The next guy here, where'd he go? U.S. Senator Bob has accepted bribes. Fucking Mendez has accepted bribes and gold bars worth up to $400,000 in exchange for help with the criminal case. Every fucking one of them. It's literally every one of them. And this is the problem. I feel like I should jump over to this shit. We're just going to jump into some stuff because... Alright. This is one of the most fucked up things I've ever... I don't even know. I must have been... I don't know what I was doing. I wasn't paying attention, obviously. But... we're talking about something that's insanely fucking disturbing. And... I want to bring this up for a reason and then get into Jeffrey Epstein and all this stuff because it just shows you how fucking disgusting, how corrupt all this shit goes, dude. And it's the same fucking thing, the same excuses at every damn turn. And it is just insanity. We're going to talk about something called Project Flicker. If you don't know what it is, this is true. This actually happened. There were people tried for this. There was investigations. It was on news reports. This was on all sorts. I mean, this was it was nationally known. This was a big deal, but it wasn't as big of a deal as it should have ended up becoming. Now,
Department releasing brand new details into an investigation involving child pornography and dozens of its workers and contractors, some with top-level security clearance. Not only are these very serious accusations, but investigators say some of the people involved were handling the nation's most sensitive secrets, potentially making this a matter of national security.
So what ends up happening in this fucking thing here, and I'm going to post this. This is the Department of Defense. This is their criminal investigation. This is not made up. Like I said, you can watch all these videos. I'll post this link here too. Watch all of these videos, or go ahead and watch this. You can go ahead and Google Operation Flicker. This is a whole bunch of people in the Pentagon, in the Army, in high-ranking everything, dude. We're talking all sorts of people. There was 5,000 people. There's people in the Department of Defense, NASA employees. All of these people were doing child pornography and all of this stuff. These people were so fucking... I don't even know what you want to call it. They used their own government emails and PayPals to start signing up on these sites and stuff. Like, they didn't even care to get caught. They didn't even give a fuck. This is the most fucked up thing I've ever heard of. And then you sit there and it's like, this is all over the government, dude. All over. And these guys had fucking national security, all of this stuff. And it was blackmail. All these people worrying about these guys were set up with blackmail and this and that and this and that after. And it's the most fucked up shit. And what ends up happening is they start making arrests. They look into a whole bunch of people. There's tons of people that they couldn't even look into. This should have been the number one thing that people should have been looking at. Every fucking penny we had should have ended up going into this investigation to take care of this, get this fucking shit out of here as fast as fucking possible. And they started doing it, and all of a sudden they had lack of funds and everything came to a complete halt. And if you guys know about this story, you know it just came to a halt and all of a sudden just stopped being talked about. It's because they ran out of funds. So it seems like all the people that need to be having these funds to go after these fucking type of people don't have it. Like the SEC always says, well, we don't have funds to go after these guys to keep going. Well, here's my problem with the SEC saying that. We don't have the means to fucking prosecute them and do all this crap. Well, okay, you don't even prosecute them really anyways. You don't go to court with them. You do your bullshit. You have them sign an acceptance waiver and consent through FINRA. How much does that cost? How much does that fucking cost? Like I said, dude, you're talking ICE members. This shit is fucking insanity. This happened in 2010. And then later on, you have fucking Jeffrey Island. And then people go, why didn't this shit come out? Because it's probably fucking people that these guys let fucking go that are so high up in top clearance that they should have got caught a long fucking time ago. Like I said, why does it seem like they never ever stop shit in fucking time, or they let the ones go and then the ones go goes 50 billion times worse because now they're not afraid of getting caught. Like I said, this shit is fucking insanity. Look at this. This is Department of Defense fucking criminal fucking report here. Talks about 5,000 individuals, contractors for the Pentagon, all sorts of stuff. People that had clearance, super secret clearance. Every type of clearance you could fucking imagine. Like, this should have been on everything, and it was talked about for a couple weeks, then done. They made some arrests, and then they stopped looking into everybody. These people had NASA secrets, fucking Department of Defense secrets. They have the guys' names, their accounts, how much they were doing, what site. I mean, look at how fucked up this shit is. I mean, obviously they redacted some of the stuff. You can't see it, all of it. I mean, some of this is, I think, obviously they're going to still, I think they could still, yeah, obviously it's still redacted a ton of shit. But look at this shit. It's fucking insanity. This guy here, I don't want to go into all of this shit. But if you read this Twitter here, this tweet, this dude breaks it down after I read it. He breaks it down pretty fucking well if you want all the key parts. But it's like, dude, literally, they were using credit cards. Were bought from Ukraine. They were bought from Ukraine using credit cards and PayPal. It's like, what is going on? What is fucking going on, dude? NASA employees. Dude, this shit is insanity. You guys definitely, like I said, this Jeffrey Epstein shit, all this shit is in fucking sanity, dude. There's so much gross fucking nasty. The world that we don't know about, the stuff we don't know about. I mean, with Jeffrey Epstein, think about it. You had the Virgin Islands go, you're doing this, but you participated in it. You processed over $1 billion in transactions, and all he says was, yeah, but he paid for your fucking prime minister's, I can't remember what he paid for. He paid for something of hers, like a house or like her son's college or something. They paid for something, and they're like, yeah, but he did this for you. You just said, yeah, but. You just admitted that you processed $1 billion and all this, like, and then they settle for $400 million. Like, this shit is in fucking sanity. This is shit, like, dude, like, this is what, these are people that you, like, okay, if there ever needs to be a death penalty, that's it. That's it. Not a fucking, here, go to a $400 million fine and go be rich the next day. And then you got people like Hester Pierce, because here's the thing, according to her fucking logic right here, well, if Jamie Dimon was involved if Jamie Dimon was involved, why would I process J.P. Morgan? 'Cause he used that company to fucking run the whole thing. Oh my god, like I said, this shit is fucking insanity, dude. The shit that is out there that we don't even fucking know about is insanity. The shit that is out there that we haven't even pulled up is ridiculous, dude. Like I said, what the fuck is going on in this fucking world? And then you look over here. So that one bitch, you remember when Wells Fargo, you remember when I pulled that thing up? I can't remember, it was a couple months ago. And this chick was doing all these fucking fake contracts, and she was signing people up under fake names. And all of a sudden there was like, people had 2 Wells Fargo accounts and all this stuff. Look at this shit. Instead of so they were going to give her 16 months of prison for her role in that, for lying and doing all that stuff. They were going to give her 16 months in prison, and instead, they gave her nothing because she doesn't pose a risk to society. All she needs to do, she pays her little penalty. She can't work in the banking industry. Who cares? Guess who's going to pay that penalty for this chick? And then they say, you know, I don't think you're right. We'll give her some probation. She doesn't seem like she poses a danger to society. She's a fucking criminal. Doesn't pose danger to fucking society. What's she gonna go do? She's gonna go work at some other thing these guys work and do some more criminal shit. No risk to society. Then you got Morgan Stanley over here. This is 3 days ago. Morgan Stanley's over here. They're falsifying documents, and they're doing the same shit, and they're changing terms of agreements. They're changing signatures over to new documents with new wording, so then they can charge these people sizable fees. And now they're being sued $750 million because these guys have the original documents, and they're going, what the fuck is going on? None of this is agreed on these documents, but then on all these documents they're sending to my employees, it says these terms and I signed them. Like I said, these guys, this is what I'm talking about with these fucking banks. Why even be in them? When you sit there and look at what they are, why do you think every single day you go to a bank, if you go, I need my money out there, they don't fucking have it. If you have a large amount, the first question they're going to say is this, What do you need it for? I need it because I have to pay your mom back for last night, bitch. That's what I need it for. Doesn't matter. It's my money. Who cares? Well, we'll have to blah, blah, blah. No, you don't need time. You're a bank. You should have, even if you ask for 10K, they like go fucking crazy. Go up to a bank. If you have 15K, just say, I want 15K. Just see the teller's response. The first thing she'll say is, what do you need it for? And they'll look at you like what? Because like I said, just tell her I need to pay your mom back. It doesn't matter. They have to ask just to write it down. It doesn't matter what you say. They do that to try and defer you from taking that money out. All these motherfuckers over leverage, and like I said, all of them just commit crimes every day. JP Morgan has 271 felonies. 271 felonies that they admitted guilt to, none of them. And they paid a fine on 271 of them. They're still trading. No human in the world can commit 271 felonies. No human in the world can commit 3 fucking felonies. You're gone. 271 felonies, and the company's still trading. Okay. Politicians taking gold bars, trading their own shit, getting bribed by pharmaceutical companies. Why has innovation in the United States stopped? Why haven't we gotten any progress in the medical field? Like I said, because they make sure you don't. It's not that they haven't made it. It's the second they do make it, they stomp it out, and then they only give it to their rich friends. Do you guys remember there was a report for the Pfizer, and one of the main things they got in trouble for is there was 2 types of shots. Some that they gave to themselves, they said was different than the shot that they gave to the public. Do you remember that? Oh, it's because that was another one that was working that they didn't have. They just didn't want you to know. Like I said, if we got a cure, a $10 fucking shot doesn't make me money. But your $100,000 chemo does. Fucking United States, dude. Like I said, give them a plaque when they hit billionaires. It shouldn't even be allowed. Like when you hit fucking $500 million, there you go. You just get a plaque that says, congratulations, you won capitalism. We'll give you a statue. Good job. Everything else from here just goes into helping the world. Say I'm fucking whatever the hell it is. I don't even care anymore, dude. This shit's socialist. I'm a socialist. I don't give a fuck. It's to the point where nobody needs to have fucking billions of dollars when everybody else, like I said, the wealth gap. You have people convinced the feds are out there trying to fight inflation. That's why they're raising rates. The feds are the one who caused inflation by printing off fucking $4 trillion in the last 4 years. And then raising rates doesn't really fight inflation. It fucking hurts all of us. It dries up credit for us, but it doesn't dry up the credit for the people that they printed all the money in the first place for, because they got all the fucking money. It doesn't dry up their credit. So guess what? They continue to do the fucking crimes, and we all get stuck with the inflation. Inflation only hurts the middle fucking class. It doesn't hurt them. They don't give a fuck. They got the money that was printed. Just like the stimulus package. We'll give you guys $1,400, and we'll give our buddies $400 billion, $4 trillion, whatever they gave them. It was an astronomical amount. Is that these guys live in a planet where it's like I said, A Bug's Life is the greatest example ever. They're the grasshoppers, we're the ants, dude. We're here to pick their shit, and that's how they view you. That's it. You're there for votes. If you don't believe me, look at the fucking all these my immigration people that are pouring in through the borders and shit. Why do you think they need them? The Democrats need votes. That's why they're doing laws where these guys can fucking come in and vote. Fuck, we're losing all these people. We need these people to replace them. They don't give a fuck. And guess what? There's now states giving them laws where they can go get jobs now legally. Well, guess what? We're not in a recession if unemployment's not down. Well, yeah, it's because you're giving them to them. You're stacking your fucking numbers just like Coca-Cola. Supply chain finance. We're going to cook our books by $1 billion a quarter. Okay. You're cooking the fucking books. We need more of this, but even fucking harsher. Former U.S. Congressman Stephen Breyer was sentenced to 22 months in federal prison for insider trading, where he made $320,000 for himself, his relatives, and a woman who he's been having an affair with. He will pay $354,000 in restitution and a $10,000 fine, as well as go to prison. But okay, if I went somewhere and I stole from a fucking bank or a company $320,000, I'm in there for fucking 10 years. These need to be even harsher, but we need to be seeing 70,000 times more of this. Because like I said, this fucking thing This fucking article of this Operation Flicker, this should have been the biggest fucking thing in the United States, and this should have been something that should have been in the history books talked about. This is the biggest fucking scandal and risk of national security. Just fucking disgusting. And it's criminal. If we didn't have the funds, fucking tell people we need the funds to get pedophiles out of here. They'll give you the funds. So if you want to read more about it, here's another article. Like I said, go ahead and Google it. But this shit is fucking insanity. Honest God, fucking ridiculously insane, dude. But at this point, like I said, everything is gonna... They've already started the death spiral, and there's no fucking chance of recovery. Even Powell's like, fuck your soft landing. He literally said, fuck the soft landing. Yeah, it'd be nice, but it's not in the plans, because there is no fucking soft landing coming. And people are going to start going, what the fuck? And that is why his nose is growing. This is why he's all over, it's not us, it's the SEC. It's not me, it's the SEC. No, it's you. You're a fucking criminal, Ken. You're a fucking criminal, and all you do is find loopholes, pay people to make loopholes, pay politicians, pay lawyers, pay Citizens United, pay fucking lobbyists to fucking change laws so you can make more money and be a bigger fucking criminal. You buy companies, you cheat to get around Chinese laws to be able to get into their market, even though you're fucking banned. You're just a piece of shit, dude. You're a fucking pile of shit. You know, I don't say this about many people, but the day you do die, buddy, whether it's fucking 30 years, whenever it is, the world will become a better place. It will be. You're a fucking loser. You're a pile of shit. And you do nothing but fucking steal from hard-ass fucking workers with your bullshit-ass crap, dude. I fucking hate this system right now. I'm sorry, I'm getting fucking pissed. This is insanity, dude. The amount of shit. I mean, the fact that, what are you telling me? The Department of Defense ran out of money to investigate this? No. And if they did, stop giving it all to fucking your contractors and all your war buddies then. Put it into this. The fuck? Ran out of money. We can't look into more pedophiles because we ran out of cash. We needed to send more bombs to you fucking Ukraine. Well, obviously at that point we did it because we weren't in Ukraine. But you know what I mean. I'm sure they sent them somewhere. We needed 12 more missiles. God, this shit is insane, man. This is fucking insane. But does anyone have any questions at all? Because I haven't really looked into the chat much today. But I mean, like I said, you're going to have, because Powell said they're pausing rates, but he said they could still do hikes if necessary on circumstances, which you're going to have. So you'll have more hikes. He also said it's here to stay at least until 2024. So if you're thinking these rates are going to go down, they're not going down until at least late 2024. They're not going anywhere. They're going nowhere. You will see 8%. You will see 8% in houses. That's how fucked up this is going to get, dude. Now, one of the things I want to show people, because, you know, God forbid, when you do mortgage-backed securities with, you know, houses and shit, you know, because everyone's got to pay their house, so now they sit there and go, well, everybody's got to pay their student loan. When you do the Ponzi scheme that way, well, what you do is you reinvent the Ponzi scheme and you bring it into student loans. And what they call them are slabs. It's basically the tranches and it's repackaging, securitization, all the fun stuff. So basically, all the private loans and student loans, they give it to people at rates that shouldn't be able to afford them. Then they repackage them, put them into a tranche, and then they sell them all over again. And this is called a slab. Now, a lot of people look over and you see the total amount because you can see, you know, what is the total. I put it up earlier. The total right now, it says student-owned loans and securitized. God, I can't talk right now. Is at 1.7 trillion. It's at 1.77 trillion. So a lot of people sit there and they talk about Is this the next crisis? Is student loans the next crisis? Is this why they were forgiving debt? Because if they wouldn't have forgave these, because a lot of people were suddenly saying, fuck it, I'm not going to pay my student loan during the pandemic and all that. They were like, you know what, I'll just default on that. I got to eat. I got to keep my electricity on. I got to keep my car, and I got to pay my house off. Student loan was the least of their priorities. So a lot of people thought they were doing the forgiveness and all that because they didn't want to have another bubble break. Because as you guys can see, look at the amount of debt through student loans. It's just fucking skyrocketed, and it's finally coming down to a cap. But, you know, that also had to do with some of the relief as well. So, what these slabs are, like I said, there's not going to be a financial crisis through this, but what there could be is a crisis coming from this. There is still over $122 billion in these slabs, which, you know, compared to the 2008, a lot of people try and say, could this be a 2008? It's not going to be a 2008 because there is 12.6 trillion in mortgage-backed securities. But 122 trillion, a lot of these are through these middle banks. And this is why I talk about, you know, these middle banks are also in trouble. They have other bubbles that a lot of people aren't looking at. And a lot of them is through these student loans. When these restart up, a lot of people are going to, again, say, fuck it, I'm not going to pay them. And that's going to hurt these middle banks. Because once again, did they learn the lesson with mortgage-backed securities? No. They go, everybody's got to pay their house back then. And then they couldn't afford to pay their houses. Everybody's got to pay their student loan. And now they can't afford to pay their student loan. So they're going to put that off. So you have another bubble of 122 billion, and a lot of that is in the middle sector banks. And that is going to be a big hit on them. And you're already seeing the federal loan program for these bank sectors at an all-time high. So you're having bubbles, bombs bursting at seams where you guys don't even know right now. They're bursting everywhere. Everything I've told you has been securitized, repackaged, sold off, repackaged again, sold off. If you've ever went and bought a car, if you ever went and bought something, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're going to give you this loan, and then we're going to, you know, a couple months down the road, you're going to have a different lender. That's because your shit was sold off. It was repackaged in a deal and sold off to another person. Usually a big company like a Sallie Mae. I'm not sure, you know, Sallie Mae's been just buying up everything right now because they know everything's pennies on the dollar. But eventually, like I said, you're going to have a lot of these banks. People aren't going to pay these. You're going to have a lot of problems. So just chill out right now. It's going to take a little while, but you're going to start to see a lot of these banks go under. You're going to see a lot of these people. Where's that tab? You're going to see a lot of these people that are out there, you know, being able to getting lending through these middle banks, getting deals through these, you know, smaller companies. They're going to get fucked. And then they're going to get fucked. And like I said, it's just going to be a downward spiral. Our key, I've been screaming this for 3 years. Get the fuck out of the banks. Get out of the banks. $1 trillion plus has already got out. We need to make this year 1.6 trillion. Get the fuck out. Everyone just keep getting out of these banks. Collapse as many of these piles of shit as we can. And then we need to prosecute these fucking giant ones, dude. We gotta get rid of this too big to fail. There should be nothing in life that is too big to fail. Because if you're too big to fail, you're too big to jail. And if you're too big to jail, you become a fucking criminal. And then you take over the world because you become the fucking mafia and you become untouchable because all you do is bribe politicians. Who do you think gave them these gold bars? Who do you think gave them these fucking gold bars? It's always gold bars. Like I said, it's always... Oh, I fucking can't stand this shit, dude. It's just corruption at every fucking turn. And the second you're going to expose something, just like in this, we got you in blackmail. We will blackmail you, or you took a bribe, and we'll expose you for taking a bribe. Like I said, this whole system, this fucking swamp is so ridiculous. Wife is calling me. But like I said, you tell me how amazing news happens, and for every single fucking IMAX, Cinemark, Cineplex, they all literally go up, and AMC is the only one that dropped. off the same news. Show me where every single fucking day you have a brand. These are settled. They're supposed to be settled in a couple of minutes. So these are. It's not like these are running. These aren't running. This is a brand new one every fucking day. So that means you're getting buys up the ass, and you have so many buys up the ass every fucking single day. You can't fill them. So, like I said, guys, they're doing their bullshit. Relax. I feel like we own the float 1,000 times over. It looks like you. Hold on, I gotta make sure she's alright real quick. Gotta give her a call here. Does anyone have any questions? I gotta make sure. I gotta call her quick. She said call me quick. It's important. So, does anyone have any questions at all before I go? Did you lose my audio? No, it doesn't say it. I don't see any questions here, but I gotta get going. I gotta call my wife, see if she's okay. But like I said, guys, just have faith in the play. They're smashing this down right now because they have no choice. If we keep on smashing fundamentals, we keep making AMC profitable, it is our best fuck you to these shorts, to this banks, to this corruption, to this criminality. Like I said, that's the one thing they can't control. All right. Oh, she texted me again. I got to go here, but thank you guys. I hope you all have a good day. I got some more stuff here I want to show you, but you guys seriously look into this Operation Flicker. Read some of the things into it, people, and try and make maybe some JP Morgan connections, Jeffrey Epstein connections. See what I'm saying? Thank you guys. Have a good